Hi friends. If you click to check out the newest addition to the Wayne Goss brush collection, his holiday brush for 2019, then please keep on watching. Hi, my name is Alicia. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking on my video. Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves things all movement and beauty. If you want to check out what I do in between the makeup, you can head over to my Instagram. Timestamps will be down below if you care to skip over to any portion of the video. A huge shout out to my friend Valerie. She came through for a squad. She was so nice enough to lend me her brush ahead of time because I was still waiting for my brush. According to the FedEx alerts, it said it was coming on the 23rd. I'm like, well, and listen, Beautylish, thank you so much. They were so nice enough to send me the brush in advance, but usually it takes maybe a few days. I think just with the high volume of orders they've been receiving, shipping has been a little slow. And you know what? It's fine because I am still grateful for the fact that they are sending me this brush comp, okay? Shout out to the Beautylish squad. So since I saw it was coming on the 23rd, I got a little anxious because I wanted to get this review up for you guys. So since my friend ordered two, she was so nice enough to lend me her second one so I can actually review with the brush and wait for mine to come. But funny enough, it came today and I'm like, oh, well, look at that. It still worked out though because I wanted to wash the brush so I could get to its full fluff capacity. And so that's what we have here. Thank you to Beautylish for sending me the brush. Thank you to my friend for helping me out and just contributing to an overall positive video scheduling experience. We'll first start with product details, what this brush is, who is Wayne Goss, pricing details, and then we'll get into the demo. And then final thoughts, as well as some comparisons, because I have several of his brushes. If you don't know who Wayne Goss is, I will link his Instagram and YouTube down below. He is a UK-based makeup artist and very known, as far as I see, his simplistic approach to makeup, his simplistic approach to most things. His reviews are very short and sweet. He has a brush collection that is exclusively sold on Beautylish, where again, this holiday brush is also from. It's self-funded, it's no frill, there's no crazy marketing for it, there are no extravagant PR boxes being sent out. It's very to the point, which is Wayne Goss in a nutshell, in terms of how he delivers his content, in terms of how he designs his brushes. They're very intuitive in design in terms of you see the shape of the brush, you have an idea of what portion of your face it's for. And I think that's what he looks to achieve when he designs his brushes. He wants them to be easy to use, and I really appreciate that because sometimes when you're not used to using certain tools, it's helpful when the design itself kind of helps guide you in terms of where can I use this brush? How can I use it? And this year with his holiday brush, I mean, first of all, let's talk about the fact that it has a white handle with a gold ferrule. Okay. Usually his brushes are all black. You know what? Why don't I have, excuse me. This is his holiday brush from last year, his holiday for 2018. You see it's a black ferrule as well as all his brushes. Excuse this for being dirty, but this is his number 14 from his face set. So you see it's very simple in design. It's all black taper handle from ferrule to handle tip. But this year he decided to go with the white and the gold, which I feel just makes it stand out in terms of it being a limited edition seasonal brush. Speaking of product details, I do believe this is limited edition. As of right now, it is still available on Beautylish. So here you have the Beautylish page and we have add to bag. So that indicates that it is indeed still in stock. It does retail for $62. We're going to go over the price in a second. Okay. In addition, the brush is also available as a bundle. So you can get it with his anniversary 2, which I have. That was my first luxury brush purchase. You could also get it with his face set. The face set with the holiday brush will retail for $312, and with the anniversary volume 2, $303. If you're new to Wayne Goss, if you're new to Japanese makeup brushes, the main difference between a Japanese brush that is handmade versus one that's made elsewhere, machine made, the bristles are not cut. They are left as is with the natural tapered tip of the bristle. So what the artisan does, and these artisans are from Kumano, Japan. Kumano is a city in Japan that is well known for their brush making. That's what they do. It is like a legendary skill that the city is known for, and they take it very seriously. It could take up to 20 artisans to design, to create one brush. So you're paying for the craftsmanship, the attention to detail, and you're almost paying for a legacy. Like people say, well, I don't want to pay for a luxury name. You're paying also for a long lineage of pristine skill and craftsmanship. This is not just a Wayne Goss name. No, this is a handmade brush with high grade bristles. So yes, this is natural hair. If you're not into natural hair, not only because of the moral cause, but because you could be allergic to it, you might not want this brush. It does say on the product profile that it is cruelty free. There's confusion in regards to how cruelty free the acquirement of these bristles are. Many people think that the animals are kept in cages, although the Japanese ensure that the means by which these materials, the goat hair, is acquired, as well as squirrel hair, that they do not abuse the animals, that they respect, highly respect the animals, because they take this so seriously. I couldn't tell you, okay friends, so it's really up to you if you want to buy this brush, if you believe them or not, if you feel no matter how well they're treated, they're still being used for their hair, and that still deems it cruel, then listen, I respect your stance, okay? But in terms of why it is so expensive, and definitely more expensive than last year's brush, as you saw, was a fan brush, and this year's is significantly bigger. Now, people have their qualms because since last year was maybe, I don't remember how much this one was. Maybe it was within the 40 to 50 range, if I could remember correctly. This is 62, but look how significantly bigger it is compared to last year's brush. You got a lot more bristle, the size of it, and the fact that it's a totally different colored handle and ferrule, I believe, also could contribute to the higher price. Some feel last year's brush will suit them well, even though it's a smaller size, it's still a fan brush, right? So to them, they're gonna get the same task, the same results out of their makeup if by chance they wanted to get the bigger brush. I do feel because of the bigger bristles, you're just going to cover more of a surface area, bigger surface area at one time. You might actually use this for foundation. I could use this for foundation. We're going to go over all of that during the demo, so hang tight. Last year's in 2017 was a dyed goat hair flat tapered brush. So this, you know, you could see the evolution of holiday brushes from 2017 till this year, yeah? And here's a close-up shot of the brush. You could just see the attention to detail and the fluff factor you could basically feel through the screen. You know what I'm saying? Heading back over to the Beautylish page as I want to read the brush details. It is ice raining and the gray right now. Here we go, reading off Beautylish's product page for the Wayne Goss Holiday Brush. Blend your makeup like a dream with this year's limited edition holiday brush from makeup artist Wayne Goss. Hey Wayne! Handcrafted in Japan, this fluffy fan brush buffs away harsh edges and a simple swipe for a seamless, streak-free complexion. The unique fan brush, a larger version of last year's holiday brush, which we saw, blends and fluffs complexion products like bronzer, blush, and highlighter without visible edges or lines. Ultra soft goat hair bristles work well with cream, liquid, and powder-based products. How to use. Use the tip of the brush to apply highlighter to the high points of your face or to contour the hollows of your cheeks. Sweep with gentle pressure to blend away lines and edges. Other details as we went over, limited edition, cruelty-free, hair type is goat. I'm assuming xoxo, they did not specify here. I could quickly go on to the special page. Maybe it is mentioned here. It just says silky soft goat hair. As to which one it is, I don't know. And back to the point about his designs being intuitive, these are two of his brushes from his face set. You can see because it's pinched and fluffy, that might lead you to apply bronzer or contour with it because it appears like it fits perfectly well into the hollows of your cheeks. Perhaps this design will lead you to apply blush or even highlight, bronzer, even contour, maybe more featherweight in application. Also, why not buff around, loose powder, or set under the eyes? You could do lots of things with each brush in that set. I figured since this is undone, we could put on foundation with this brush. So why don't we get started with this demo? That's enough. All right, I don't have any foundation on. I just have my eyes on. It is the ColourPop Bare Necessities eyeshadow palette. I haven't purchased an eyeshadow palette, I think, like for 6 months. I am so proud. I know you're like, well, you didn't have to buy that one either, Alicia. I know, guys, I know. I just have the Good Molecules silicone-free priming moisturizer on. I could use a little more. My skin has been really dry, but we're gonna get it done. Mixing ABH and Dose of Colors. I will put the shades down below. I like to mix the 2 colors first on the back of my hand, and then I'll pat it down all over my face. And let's see what this can do with foundation. It's very airbrush, it's very fluffy, and I think it'll be great for someone that wants a light application of foundation because the bristles are not stiff. For instance, like his number 12. I wiped it a little bit and went in. It's going to leave behind more product because it's more densely packed than the fan brush. But I think it's a great brush to use, especially if you're a makeup artist that doesn't particularly love or doesn't use a lot of foundation on the skin. This is, I feel, great for that because it just spreads it beautifully across the skin. So it might look a little grainy because I'm kicking up the exposure, trying to bring more light into the shot, but this is how the skin looks when I use this brush to blend in my foundation. And not too bad, it didn't absorb too much because I think, again, we applied the foundation on our skin first. Feels really nice, skin feels very soft. Now, whenever you're going between different mediums, always have a towel on hand so you can wipe off the excess product. I just have my Fenty Beauty concealer here in 310. I haven't used this in quite some time, but just, ooh, that's a little too light. Oh my goodness. My, how times have changed, Alicia. Look at you. Because I thought this was like a good color, but I need to tone it down. My Shiseido in 303 coming to the rescue to fix that. Now, when I reviewed last year's brush, I was floored by how well it applied blush because the brush head is perfectly sized for the cheeks, and it just makes it so intuitive in terms of like where to apply your blush because it just slaps you right there, like can't go wrong. Cannot go wrong. Using the 2017 Holiday brush to then set my concealer, taking my Hourglass translucent veil, a very light dusting because we're not actually going to go super nuts with this, but why not? I will take my pat powder, which nobody likes except me, and then we'll take the Holiday brush again from this year. I'm patting it down on the net. I'm just getting some product there, and I just know, like, come on, what better brush can you possibly pick up? I mean, yes, we have several favorites for loose powder application, but this is great. I mean, you're done. Look how much of the brush takes up on my face. Like, you're done, which I think makes it ideal for those who do not like loose powder, but they still use some just to ensure that their makeup does not break up throughout the day. If it's a smaller brush, for instance, if it's this brush, you might use a little more, but because this is a fan, I feel that you could still get a lot of surface area at one time because it's so wispy in terms of feel and design. But this is like, come on, you're done. You're basically done. Face is set as well. I don't need any more powder. Again, ideal for drier skin types that are not crazy about loose powder or any powder for that matter, but we could make it happen with this fan brush. Contouring, why not? Let's go in with Makeup Forever's S116, I believe this shade number is called. Carefully just dropping in some on the bristles. Usually when I use a fan brush, I'll go in on the same side that I apply the product. So I'm just placing that right there on the hollows. And again, because it is slightly tapered, you see here, is slightly tapered as it comes up to the tip. So you could apply the product right here and then place it right on the hollows of your cheekbones, and it's just going to apply it perfectly. I mean, like, come on, that's all you need. That's all you freaking need. And the longer the bristle, the more airy the application, right? Versus a denser brush. So again, I'll bring this back in as an example. The number 12 is going to give you more product because the bristles are shorter and more densely packed, as opposed to the Holiday brush where it's a lot longer, more wispy, but because you got more bristles from last year's brush, then maybe it's going to pick up a little more product than this one. Bronzer, we got to do the bronzer. Let's go in with Natasha Denona Tan Bronze and Glow. I'm just gonna pat along like so. It picks up a lot of product, so what I like to do, I'll tap off the palm of my hand and then go in on this bronzer. Easy peasy. This brush just feels incredibly soft and wispy. It feels so good to apply makeup with it, and I feel ideal for one who does not like, or maybe you do have a tendency to be quite heavy-handed with your application, and having a wispier brush like this one, it's just gonna help lessen the amount of product you apply on your skin. And it looks so smooth. I really love how the foundation looks. I love how the loose powder, the contour, the bronzer, everything looks really nice on the skin. And I mean, duh. So keep in mind, the longer the bristle, the lesser amount of product this will apply at one time. If you like a lot of makeup, then maybe this is not ideal for your bronzer, blush, highlighter, and contour application. Maybe better for you for buffing. I cannot wait to apply blush. So let's take Natasha's blush duo. This is in 02 and 04, the matte peachy nude. Taking one side of the brush, gonna tap off some off the palm and go. Amazing, amazing. So I'm using like more of the tip, and because this probably will be too big of a blush application because of the size. So perhaps you take like the corner of it and just whisk it on to where you like your blush. If you like it more on the apples of your cheeks, if you like it higher on the cheekbone area, which is where I've been wearing it most of the time now, it feels incredibly good. Let's take the highlighter shade, why not, on one side and just pull it across the cheekbones here, yeah? Now, I could already maybe predict that this is going to deposit a very, very light finish, light application of highlighter. We could give it a shot. Let's go in with the Dior palette. This is the Glitz palette 002 Dior Backstage. I'm gonna whip it across these two pans, yeah? And let's see how that goes. Yeah, so this is gonna be a very light application of highlight simply because it's just a wispy brush. The bristles are long, it's a big brush in general, so it's not going to pick up as much as, let's say, Sonia's fan brush. This is her Sculpt number 2. It's more densely packed. Because of that, it's going to pick up more product, and at just one time, you can see more on there. Now, keep in mind, my skin is a little on the dry side, so it doesn't have a whole lot of tack. So let's go back on this experiment. I'm going to lightly spritz. And before that dries down completely, let's go in with the Holiday brush again with the same highlighter shades, and then lightly just tap where we spritzed. Now, even so, I have a little more stick on there. It remains very lightweight in application, yeah? I will still rely on a smaller brush for my highlight. For me, that's just because I like to wear my highlight at a certain intensity, yeah? But I think it's great for those who don't want a lot of highlight, but they just want that portion of the cheekbones to look lighter than the rest of their face. And in that case, when we applied the lighter highlighter shade from the duo and we just stroked it across the cheekbone, I think that is perfect for that. Now, all over, let's see. I'm just gonna take my Charlotte Tilbury airbrush. Look, Look who almost is hitting pan. Or hit pan. I did. Look at the dot. You see? Because take some powder here, and when all has been applied, you just whip it around everything. And I think this is probably the standout task for this fan brush. Buffing is probably one of the most important steps of your makeup routine, especially if you apply contour and bronzer and blush and highlight. You want to ensure all those products blend seamlessly together, that there are no lines of demarcation. You don't see where one starts or one begins. The gradient of color looks harmonious and as one. And when you do buff at the end of your makeup routine, especially with a brush like this, designed with the longer bristle, with a wider top and pinched base, it's like perfect. Come on, man. And we gotta apply some lipstick. Let's apply some lipstick to finish the look. Ooh, look who got her Linda lipsticks, or her Fantastics. This is in the shade Famous, which I freaking love. You guys were right. Oh my God. Oh, before we drop into the final thoughts, I wanted to quickly show you all of my fan brushes that I have in my collection, just so you could get an idea of how this one compares. Now, I already showed you how it compares to last year's brush. This is Wayne's number 15 fan brush that comes in his face set, and you see that the holiday one is significantly larger. It is thicker, just more bristles in there. So this perhaps would be more ideal for a more concentrated placement of highlights. This is my Hakuhodo brush from their 2019 holiday collection. This is a mixture of squirrel and goat. So this feels a little more wispy and lightweight than his holiday brush, because squirrel is a little softer than goat hair, but you see that this is like a little rounder than his holiday brush, that the sides come up a little more as opposed to this one going straight up. That you see there's a little bit of roundness there. But again, I love to use this for buffing as well, even applying bronzer depending on. Blush, forget it. This is Sonia Sculpt 1. So Sonia Sculpt 1 is a lot more densely packed. You can even see here on the side, and the bristles are shorter, which makes it perhaps, if you want a more concentrated placement of color for bronzer or even contour, you're going to get more from your Sculpt 1. You could even use this for blush. Just be careful that you don't get it on all the bristles, but maybe just the corner of the brush. You could even use this for a light placement of highlight, or just to buff all your makeup in at the end of your routine. But you could clearly see, because of the size, these are just going to yield different tasks, different finishes of your makeup product. I think they're both phenomenal. If you have the Sculpt 1, you could achieve all the tasks that we did in this demo with your Sculpt 1, like we did with our holiday brush. I like the longer bristles for buffing. This is good for buffing, but you can feel, because the bristles are shorter and more densely packed, it's not going to move around your makeup, but it's not going to feel as wispy. So if you want that feather light, wispy feel, like fairy wings on your face. Holiday brush. And last but not least, we have the latest from Sonia's Sky face set. This is the Worker fan brush. It's a little smaller than her Sculpt 1, but a little bigger than her Sculpt number 2. Where did I put it? I was sitting on it. This is Sonia's Sculpt number 2. So you can see between the three that this, of course, the obvious difference is that this is dyed goat hair, but the bristles are a little longer, but this is more densely packed. The Worker fan is not as densely packed, a little more wispy, but smaller overall than Wayne's holiday brush. This will be great because, again, the shorter bristles will place a little more color on the hollows of your cheek, on your cheekbones for highlight, on your cheeks for blush. You could still very much use this to buff your makeup, but again, the bristle length of this just makes it supremely ideal for buffing. Like, regal. And last but not least, I forgot to show this in the beginning. This is Wayne's synthetic fan brush. These are synthetic bristles as opposed to natural. So you can see how much foundation I have on here. That this is what I use. In addition, I started using my sponge again just for home. But when I travel, I'll use the 24S that I love how it applies foundation, and synthetic bristles do not absorb product as much as natural bristles do. If you want more product on your skin in your foundation step, then yes, definitely use a synthetic brush. And because of that, I get a little more coverage from my foundation without having to use as much. So wispy, lightweight, light coverage application with this brush, a little more medium, I would dare say medium to like full-ish, maybe with 2 pumps or more foundation you'll get with the 24S. Here are the size differences: shorter bristles, more of a angled shape for the fan. This has slightly rounded sides. Density kind of the same, but you can see because this has more bristles, it just looks like it's fluffier. Final thoughts, do you need this brush? Is more so, are you a fan of Wayne Goss? No matter what brush he comes out with every year, I'm going to buy them. And I feel, because I do also have this same thing with makeup, that certain things, for instance, Pat McGrath's Star Wars collection, yeah, I'm getting Decadence. I have Decadence already because it's the Star Wars collab and it is like iconic collab, and I just want the palette as a collector's item, right? With brushes, I feel more inclined to buy brushes that are limited edition because they last longer. They're brushes. They're not going to break down like makeup. And because I'm like more like chin deep in Japanese brushes now, hey fude, I'm gonna buy every brush that Wayne comes out with. In terms of you being in a rush, well, a lot of people missed out on last year's brush. It did sell out at one point, and I think it restocked at some point, but it never came back. Hakuhodo has outstanding fan brushes, so if you don't feel the need to buy this particular one, there's not a shortage of fan brushes out there. You will find one that you will love. As far as I'm concerned, I love Wayne Goss brushes. I had impeccable experience with them. So yes, I highly recommend this brush. And while I understand this was sent to me, and while I understand that the face set was sent to me during the Beautylish gift card event video, I have purchased my fair share of Wayne Goss brushes, and I can honestly say they are very much worth every penny. They have totally changed my makeup routine. They are just impeccable in terms of design and performance, the ease of use. You cannot go wrong. And this brush in particular, I just think it's aesthetically beautiful. Like, to have this on your vanity just like as a standalone piece, absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at the gold ferrule. It's so shiny. And for someone who's into brushes like I am, this is a must for me. Like, I have to have this in my collection. There's no question, there's no argument about it. For someone who's practical, of course you don't need it. Absolutely. If you have a solid brush collection that delivers every task of your makeup routine to the nines, like, you're good to go, you're covered. This is definitely a luxurious step in your makeup application routine. However, if you are one that just likes a lighter application of makeup, if you found that the brushes that you do have, they lay on makeup too heavily, it's not lightweight in finish, in application, then maybe consider this, because the fan design, the longer bristle, the perfect density of the brush just makes it for just a lighter application of makeup that I feel is ideal for every day. Now, if you're talking photographs, performance, yeah, you gotta layer it on because you'll disappear under the light. But for every day, and for your makeup to look smooth, airbrushed, poreless, just overall, what is the word? Sublime. Divine. Get this brush. I highly recommend it, friends. $62 is a lot, but keep in mind there are a lot of brushes out there in a similar price range that don't come anywhere near the performance of Wayne Goss brushes. That, yeah, you are sometimes paying just for the name, but in terms of this, a handmade Japanese brush, It is well worth the price. You will not regret it. You will really love it. And if you have already ordered it, I would love to know what you think. If you're still on the fence and you have more questions, just pop them down below. I'll try my very best to get to all the comments because I am so behind, but I'm not ignoring you on purpose. I will get to them for sure. And that, my friends, is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to my channel. And until then, I'll see you in here again with another review, tutorial, shop list, favorites, or get ready with me. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.